Hey, welcome with talking shit. Welcome to talking shit with the Manic Genius and the Sophisticated Jerk.
What up?
Today we got a real good clip, man. Let me go ahead and pull that up. So give me 1 second. I ain't even gonna do the introductions like that no more, man. we we diving right in. But the clip today is from the SOSCAST podcast with Adam Sosnick. So real big podcaster. And I see if you see Adam on the screen right now, man, he's definitely on some fly shit, getting to the money and stuff. So let me go ahead and cue that up and play it real quick. All right. Let me know if you can hear it, Manic.
All right.
Yeah.
You're on a business trip. You guys are
Yeah, I
busy.
can hear it.
Thing you're traveling. You meet this beautiful girl. She's classy. She's successful. She's smart. You really enjoy her company. She's 27 years old. She's an accountant. She makes $100 grand a year, and she has a 3-year-old son. The good news is he's potty trained. Where do you gentlemen with no kids that I know about go from here? McQueen.
She's done. She's just getting hit and that's it.
So you're banging her.
For sure.
And then what happens?
And then sayonara, bitch,
That's
Would
it.
you like her to get in her pants, or would you be like, yeah, I'm only here to fuck? Like,
Well, I mean, if I do I know that she has a kid from the get-go?
yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Then yeah, no. I mean, I'm just immediately just trying to fuck. That's it for sure.
That's
But
it.
would
So
you
that
tell
is-
her that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
David, you meet this girl. What do you do?
I made this mistake last time
Oh,
and found out the hard way. It's actually kind of how I
That's too
came
bad.
upon some of these podcasts about the
Really?
red pill stuff. Yeah,
What was the situation?
I'm sorry.
single mom, had been divorced. I think the problem is that men look at that very differently than the women do. It's hard to get our perspectives to be aligned, right? So
Okay.
her perspective was very defensive. It wasn't, I made bad choices in life that brought me here. I'm grateful someone's given me a chance. It was, my kid's amazing. I'm amazing. You're lucky to be here. It was very hard to get on the perspective I had, which was, this is definitely not ideal. I'm going out of my comfort zone. I'm expecting quite a bit of appreciation on it. And they were like, I don't owe you anything.
Thanks,
Some
feminism,
other guys-
right?
Yeah,
Am I right?
And it was like, that was a bad investment.
Troy, you're at the club. You meet these girls.
All right, let me pause it real quick. So fair use and all that. But what's your take so far, man? Based on what the two guys said, I think it was McQueen and the other guy.
Yeah. No. McQueen is funny as shit, man. I follow him. Hilarious individual, and he has game. It's multiple clips of him just pulling up and nothing staged. It's just authentic. He's off the cuff, super talented comedian as well. I mean, their take, they don't have any kids, so I definitely understand that perspective. Like, if you ain't got any kids, then it's just like, why would you do something like that? Like,
I
and
like. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, if you have options, like it's all if you have options. If you ain't got any options, then yeah, you just gotta take that. But me, I have a son who's actually 3, so that would be one of those conversation pieces. Like, okay, what kind of style of parenting do you have? What kind of relationships as a child father? So I would actually entertain it. But off of what Buddy said, like, oh, my kid is amazing. You're lucky to be in his life. Like, that chick will be gone immediately. Like, I wouldn't tolerate that mess. But if it's an accountant, she's making money and she can take care of her herself and her kid, then I'm on that same boat. Like, I'm making money. I can take care of myself and my kids. So it would be more of I would entertain it, but that's only because I have a kid. If I didn't have a kid, I'd be on the same boat as all 4 of the gentlemen. Like, hey, I'm out. No, fuck that.
Yeah. No, that's my take too so far. Because like you said, since I have a kid, I am open to it. But yeah, if I didn't have no kid, I'm moving on fast. But yeah, my man McQueen, man, he's straight to the point.
Yeah.
He don't be holding back on those punches. And I do like how they had the one guy had like a real life scenario. Because he's like, hey man, I've been through that. Like, that sucked. And I think sometimes, man, like a lot of people don't understand like why guys are sometimes giving pushback, but they're just like, look, I either been through that process or I know somebody that been through that process, and they just kind of, it was pretty hard on them. So I think I'm glad like a lot of men are, kind of talking about these scenarios and stuff, so women could hear it out. Hear them and also like be like, damn, okay, maybe I need to, if I do want to move on to another relationship, I gotta, fix some things so I'm not, kind of, being a burden to a certain degree, just based on my situation and stuff. So nah, I'll go ahead and play some more of that.
But I love how McQueen was straight to the point. He's like, I hit, but that be it. And it's just like, that's the when women think they have options, and it's just like, no, you don't. McQueen, is letting you know how most guys who actually get women think. And it's just like, yeah, you're hit material, but as far as a real relationship, no, not if you're a guy with options, because you're just gonna find that version of that woman without a kid. But I mean, if you're struggling and you're a little insecure, or maybe you can't have kids, or something's going on with you physically, psychologically, then yeah, you'll be taking that and like stepping into that role. But yeah, to each his own. But it's not an ideal situation.
Yeah, no, that was a good point.
Raising somebody else's kid.
He definitely, he was like, look, that's a late night mission.
Yeah,
that ain't long term. So he put it out there quick. But all right, let me go ahead and play.
Gorgeous girl, her situation. She's got the 3-year-old. His name's Dylan, by the way.
Oh, nice.
What are you doing with the girl?
I mean, look, personally, for me, I wouldn't want to get into something serious with a woman who has a kid. That's just no disrespect to single mothers. That's just in my life. That's just not something that I would want to take on. So it would have to be casual, and I would make that pretty clear up front.
You'd be up front. You're not going to do the McQueen approach where you just gotcha, bitch.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, look. I mean, the way that I tend to move, I'm not going to be sitting down with her having if this is kind of a one-night stand situation, sitting down to her, sort of, right, just to be clear, these are the terms of our engagement. I'm not going to be that sort of specific about it, but she's going to kind of know from my vibe. She's going to get the idea, because I'm traveling a lot anyway. Do you know what I mean? So the whole setup is not going to be one that is likely to be leading towards something long-term. But so that would be my answer. I mean, effectively the same as McQueen's, but I'd probably soften the blow a little
Kevin,
bit.
do you have a different response?
I don't avoid single moms. I've dated a few single moms, but I've found a selfish trait amongst most of them. There's not one single mom that I haven't dated who has not said something to the effect of, what's important about you being around is I want my kid to see his or her mother being loved right. And I'm like, what do you want? Fucking make out in front of the kid? He's already confused enough as it is. He's wondering, where's dad and who the fuck is this? That's all the kid is wondering. Any of us that had step parents and shit, most of us met our step parents like 3 o'clock in the morning. Somebody's drunk, and it's like, son, Jim is here because your father ain't.
Ryan's arms are bigger,
it's like
though.
very confusing. So I really do take children and their youth and upbringing and innocence very serious. So really, I don't give a shit what the mom wants. I'm thinking in terms of like, what's best for the kid that you have. I'll think for your kid before you do, and think all this is going to bring him is confusion. You need to completely keep these worlds separate if you're going to fuck with
So you're saying that she should not date anymore?
No.
Or she's saying she should stay with the guy?
No,
What's
but
your
a lot
solution?
of them are probably not you, because you're,
I was like, I'm very
no, I know you're
invested in
different
this
in every way, and that's
situation.
why everybody loves you. But I mean, no, but this eagerness to like find the replacement stepdaddy thing is. I've never not come.
Last question for the guys, and then I'm going to turn it over to the girls.
Hold on, pause real quick. Everything sounds better in like an English accent. My man was like dressing it up. You can tell he was like trying to.
They all said that. It's interesting, man. They all said the same thing, and like, despite the consensus amongst 3, what we can see. I hate to use the word high value, but what we can see, high value men. 4 of them. All of them have the consensus of like, no, we don't have kids. Not an ideal situation. We've tried it before, or he's tried it a couple times. So he's a little bit accepting of it, but he still has a negative outlook on it. So it's just like, that just goes to show that it's not a great situation. And I think more women need to hear that, because, they get amongst themselves. Like, I don't know how many women are on that side, but they get amongst themselves and they convince themselves like, oh no, it's a blessing. And, a man, a real man is going to step, and they try to like, kind of like, hey, it'll be okay. Like, kind of like,
oversell it,
oversell it, give that level of comfort. Like, no, at the end of the day, the reality is men look at it completely different. We don't look at it as a blessing. We look at it as what it is. It's a burden. It's a burden to us, because we're going to come in and, be that figure. So I don't think kids are a burden. I think the kids that are not yours are a burden.
And I just think, like you
kid is a
said,
blessing.
yeah. But it's just a situation because I heard a lot of females that don't have kids too be like, look, I ain't messing with no guy with no kids because it's just like all the extra stuff that comes with that type of situation.
Facts.
So I think, yeah, they're all consistent, like you said, and the title in the video, it was like high value men debate, you know, women with kids and stuff. So yeah, they're all up there. And then if you know, like what you're pointing out, it's pretty diverse. Like this ain't just like a lot of time, you know, in our space, we see just like black dudes saying this type of stuff, but like, hey, there's only one black dude on that stage, and all of them, like the rest of them, coming from like different countries and
different backgrounds.
Yeah, different backgrounds, and they're saying the same thing, and like they in pretty good shape, got themselves together. So yeah, they ain't having it. But I'll go ahead. Go ahead.
And to your point, like no, because I do have a son, 3-year-old. I do come across women who it's just like, hey, things are cool, and then it's like, yeah, they're like, oh, what are you doing this week? I'm like, hey, I got my son this week, and they're like, oh, you have a kid? I'm like, yeah, he's 3. They ask about the age, and then they come back like,
ghost your ass.
I'm not. No. The women are nah. They just say, oh, I'm not interested in, you know, somebody with a kid. I'm trying to start my own nuclear family, and like, I don't even get mad. Like, I respect it. I'm like, hey, that's cool. Like, I understand. Like, you know, I completely understand. So I don't get mad about it. I'm just like, because it's just the reality. Like, what am I going to try to convince you to take on my burden? Like, my kid is an absolute blessing to me, but coming into a relationship,
somebody else.
Yeah, it's a burden to somebody else, and that's just the reality.
Okay,
because that's how I see it.
Yeah,
you know, my kid can cancel out another kid, so I'm like willing to do a woman with one kid, but try come at me with 2.
You say you ain't having
it. Second one's a burden.
yeah. Nah, it adds up because it's time to it. You know, it's time. So yeah, that's how people looking at it. Not like you said, like, oh man, your kid is bad or nothing. It's just the time element.
Yeah. Because my kid is like, you know, he takes time. You know, I got off work today and we went to the little playground area. Yeah. And that was like 2.5 hours. Like if I was in a relationship, then you know my partner would have to, like, instead of going on like a little dinner date, it's Taco Tuesday. Instead of going to Taco Tuesday and just
that's
like
where I was at. I was thinking margaritas while you was
margaritas and eating tacos. Like I'm at a kid, you know, play park. It's like, hey, you gotta accept that. So that's like cutting into that time. So I understand.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, let me play this video again.
Would it be different? Would you have a different perspective if you actually had a kid already?
Yeah.
So you're almost doing like a Brady Bunch situation.
Yeah, but I don't.
No.
So no?
No.
So you're just not trying to raise someone else's kid?
No, because it's like now if I have my own kid, now I got 2 little niggas I gotta take care of.
Oh, shit. Yeah,
Nobody wants that.
And same thing. Now my kid's wondering where's mom and who's this thought.
Got it. Okay. So if you had a kid, would you be a little more comfortable?
No, because I came from my parents divorced, and then we got sort of put together into another family, and I mean, that was problematic. It's not always like Kevin was saying. I mean, when you think about the kids in these situations being brought up, you know that there can be a lot of problems in those situations. So I would be even if I had a kid, I'd be very wary about just sort of like shoving it together.
Here's where I need your help.
I want that guy to deliver any bad news.
Yeah.
Tracy, Janelle. So there's 2 of you ladies. Okay. Don't look around. Look right at me. Raise your red or your green. Should men date single moms? Hold it up high. Hold it up high.
Of course.
Pixie. We have
all the women with kids.
Guys,
are like,
I don't flicker it.
They're in between.
We have red. We have green.
All the women without kids,
so
they're like,
most of it is green.
Keep our value up.
4 or 5 of you is red. So Tracy, you put your green up because you're a single mom.
Yes.
Sell us on why one of these gentlemen should be your new boy toy baby daddy situation.
No, I think that there's people in the world for everybody. I don't think anyone should be my
That is incorrect.
father. I think someone that's going to come to my life will love me and eventually end up loving my son, but I am not looking for a baby daddy. I am looking for a partner.
I'm listening
And
very
that's the
closely to
difference.
this one.
So nobody's replacing that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So what would you say to the guy that's like, I don't even know, you're hot, you're cool, you're great. I can't even get over the fact that you have a kid, and as dope as you are, I'm mentally blocked.
Then that
what you're
means that
saying
that's not the person for me.
Not quite what I was saying, but go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I jump on what
Sure,
you
yeah.
said? Because I have a lot to say, and I'll be brief. But
So real quick, you think she was you think she made a good case?
Absolutely not. I think she was just like, kind of projecting what she wants people to believe in, based on her circumstances. But she looks very young and she already has a kid. So, most of the guys that she's probably going to run into around her age, aren't going to have kids. So they're absolutely right for passing that up. I think the guys who can't get women who look like her will accept it because they're like, oh, okay. It's kind of like a discount, shit on clearance when you're like walking out the store and you're like, I don't really need this, but this is actually a good deal. So I'm going to get it anyway. So I think that's how,
a lot of dudes are going to view that.
Yeah, absolutely.
They pedestalize kind of because she's cute. So yeah, they definitely, I can see, like you said, like a dude that don't have too many options, definitely. But one thing I do give her credit for, she wasn't trying to force it on nobody.
Yeah.
Like we were saying earlier with the whole like, oh, a strong guy would do this, type of stuff. So I think she was just like, hey, like there's people for everybody. I understand. So she wasn't trying to like, you need to do this or overselling her situation. So I think that did stand out. But
I will say though, just how the way that she approached the question and her response, it would be a no for me. Like she's definitely attractive. She has one kid. I got one kid, but I would say no because she doesn't have a level of reality. There's still like too much delusion that I would have to, it wouldn't work out. Because she can't
delusion. Because I think she knows deep down, like I can get one of these suckers. That's
what
I'm
saying.
Yeah. I think she's smart enough to realize that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. True.
I think
I'm just saying, like a man of my caliber, no.
Oh.
I wouldn't be interested in how she's talking. Like if she came into the situation, like, yeah, I have a son, it is or I have a kid, and it is gonna be a little harder for me, and I just have to accept certain things. And it's like, okay, you're a person who actually understands. It's just like it's the mindset. So yeah, she's still in her mindset of like, well, I'm not putting things on you, so I can take care of I don't need this, and like that combative kind of spirit, and like instead of like listening to what she just had 4 guys tell her that like, hey, this ain't a good deal, and instead of acknowledging that they were right in their consistency or acknowledging, she just goes straight into defensive mode. Could you imagine waking up to that every single day, having the truth in front of you, and she's still in defensive mode? So it's just like,
yeah, and I think she probably took a little bit of of what they were saying personal, because I think it hits a little harder when it's like guys that, because these are guys that's at that level that every female be talking about, like, hey, I want a 6-figure man, they're in shape and shit, so I think that's what it hits a little harder when it's some guys that they kind of project when they be talking and stuff what they want. And these guys are like, nah, not at all, not budging. So I think that's probably why she's on the defense too. So good observation.
But I mean, even if you're on defense though, like there should be a level of accountability and acceptance of your truth.
Oh, no, facts.
So it's just like she didn't sprinkle any of that in her response. She just went straight to like, I'm gonna defend myself.
You're thinking about logic, like that's how we'll take it, because we deal with the hard truths a little bit more. So can you imagine, like, if you're just hearing this for like the first time from like the guys that, like I said, that prototype? That's what I'm saying. Like I give them a little pass because it's the first time they're hearing it. Like I agree with you. Like I would be like, oh, okay, thanks for giving me that perspective. Get off stage like shit, But yeah, they're hearing this for the first time, man. Like guys, we're probably looking at it like a little biased because we get tough love on a regular basis.
We understand this stuff, yeah.
But all right, let me go ahead and play it again.
I want to make a few points. First of all, you guys are all obviously talented and very much so respected in your field, including yourself.
Always the compliments before the bad news.
Yeah, I like how she's starting.
What's my battle?
Well, you said you're a bit.
I'm gonna have kids one day.
Yeah, one day. But like,
Adam was like, "What?"
You're always like asking your friends, "You really like it?" Like,
What's sex, guys? I've never heard of this.
Anyway,
what do you do with
complimenting us?
They're naked.
What I will say first of all, as there's a lot of single moms who have given single moms like myself a really bad rap, and they use men for resources, and they put their children before their serious committed persons whoever, if they're married or not, before their needs, like their spouse's needs, right? And I don't agree with that if it's a long-term serious thing. So I think that that's to be said for why probably a lot of you, and more reason you said, I don't want to raise two kids. And that's honest, and I appreciate that. However, what I will say, the men that I've met and that I've dated and that have proposed to me, they wanted to marry me and they wanted to be a stepfather to my son.
Can you pause it real quick?
If I wanted that.
No doubt.
Yeah, I just want to make a point. She said she's saying the man that proposed, she said the men that have proposed to me, they wanted to be numerous. Earl. So I think that's so funny when women think that that's a flex, that a man wants to propose to them. It's like, it's not a flex because it's a man you didn't want. Like, every woman can find a dude that will propose to them. That is not a flex.
And then also when you saying like it's numerous guys that did that, you know, the first thing that goes in guys' mind is like, why did all of them end bad if that's the case? So like you said, when you're saying the numbers game, it don't play out right. So I think sometimes, like you said, people think it's a flex. They're like, oh well, multiple guys proposed to me. Okay, the why them relationships went bad. Like, so if you have 4 of them, one of them should have like stuck. So now you created that pattern where it's like, all right, it might be you now, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that.
It's not a flex.
Hell no. Let me start it again.
Right. Now, the thing about me that's different for most women is, even though I'm very masculine in how I'm speaking now, because I'm trying to make a point, I'm very feminine. And I let the man take the lead. And I don't try to say, my son and I are so cool, we're the best. No, I let a man be gracious to me because I'm feminine and I serve his needs. I make sure his sexual needs are served. I make sure that his tummy is full. And my son never goes without, trust me. He's been to 14, 15 countries already. Yeah. So I think the difference is that some men, no disrespect to y'all,
right,
are not cut out for that, because it takes a very extremely high alpha man, I think, that would be willing to say, listen.
See my man take a deep breath to finish you.
Facial expressions. Hold on, let me finish momentarily. That will be willing to step in and raise someone else's son. That takes a very brave, bold man. And there are men out there in the world who will do it when they see the value of a woman that's serving them and saying, listen, yes.
Did you say that there were men that wanted?
I'm glad you stopped it. Go ahead, man.
So what's your take on her? That's an alpha male position, and based on what she was saying.
Oh, this is classic, manipulation, playing with the words and like redefining what something is to fit your situation. Like, this is, and I think, when I was married, I'm divorced now. When I was married, sometimes I would have conversations and me and the ex-wife would disagree. And sometimes I'd come out of that conversation like, what the just happened? Like, I know I was speaking very clearly and logically, and she just wasn't getting it, but somehow it was twisted. And it's just like, now that I've, now that I'm more mature and understand what was going on, it's just a way, it's actually beautiful the way women can do it. They can manipulate words and flip things and spin it around, like spin masters they'll take one definition and turn it completely to fit their situation, to like justify an emotional response and completely negating the logical, or the logical response. So I think this is like perfect, and I think a lot of the podcasts kind of show that, like, it's consistent. Like, women will redefine words to make it fit their situation or to make you feel bad for, having standards.
No, that's facts. And the funny thing with the lady that was like kind of challenging him, she's like super conservative, red pill too. And that's the hilarious part.
Not that
because it's just like, whenever like I see with a lot of women, they'll like take that stance, to try to win guys over into space and to kind of like get a name out there. But whenever they have like a situation that ain't favorable to, like, I'll say to those, like, to the red pill or whatever movement they're trying to like get into, they're quick to tell you like, well, in this situation,
my situation is different.
yeah, you're not alpha if you don't want to take this on. Like, will definitely override like all the other stuff that she usually pushes. But in that one instance that like benefits her, oh yeah, like nah, you're not like masculine or alpha if you don't like
Yeah.
you're not willing to do this. Like, I'll redefine it real quick to justify my position. So yeah, like you said, a lot of females that we seen lately, like, I'm gonna redefine what masculinity is based on what I want. Like, oh, you don't do this. This is what a masculine man would do.
No.
So
this is what the most masculine of masculine men would do.
Yeah, they definitely. So that, like you said, that's definitely y'all, we spitting game in this. That's manipulation 101.
Yeah.
They quick to use the word manipulation, but some of these females are some of the biggest manipulators. But let me go ahead and hit the.
It openly came into your life and wanted to help raise your kid.
Yes.
Where are they now?
Well, I was going to tell you.
Why didn't they make the cut?
Well, first of
all,
hold on. First of all, I didn't choose that, and here's why. And I won't get into my personal. I'll just give you one example. He's very famous. He's in the personal development world. He's on Tony Robbins' stage more than Tony is. So if you know the Tony Robbins world, you know who he is, and he's your color. Anyways, he was a lot older than me, and he didn't want to have more children, and I do. I'm going to have at least one or two more. So for me, that was he was very invested in my son, but I said, you know what? I'm waiting for that person who wants to build our own family too. He adopts my son and we have one together. And so that's what I'm doing. And so I'm right now choosing to give my son a beautiful life.
Yo, this joint just said she's a gold digger. And she said that she wants not only for somebody to rescue her, she wants a rescue situation and she wants insurance.
She said
the first kid, well, she said he's a lot older, meaning that, and he's on Tony Robbins, so he's famous. If you're on Tony Robbins, anything, you're making some crazy bread because Tony Robbins gets to that bag. He don't play around about the bag. So guy's wealthy, a lot older. So it's just like he can finance her life. He's probably the one sending her all those 14 countries that her kid gets to enjoy. But that still wasn't enough. She thought that, wait, I got this man locked in because, like she said, she's doing what she's feminine, and she defined her femininity as pretty much, draining
all
his balls
and
feeding him. That's what she described femininity as. Like, damn, I didn't know it was that basic.
It's like getting excited for a car to have a steering wheel, pretty much.
She's hella excited for a car to have a steering wheel. So she turns around and says, hey, I know you're older, you got bread, you've been flying me around, me and my son, and you'll give us the world. You invested in my son, but I need you to further invest. I need you to adopt him so that if shit goes sour, he's your responsibility. Absolving his father, which is the guy that I slept with and let him just, whatever inside of me and just take away all of his responsibility. So he's a free man, but the burden is going to fall on you. Child support, all that. I'm about to drop some game right here. Never adopt another. You don't want to adopt somebody else's kid unless you are like married with them and you want to take that risk, but it's hella risky. And especially to a woman like this who started off showcasing what she valued most about the guy. She didn't say he was talented. He was super smart. He was, intelligent. She said, he's a lot older than me and he makes great money because he's on the Tony Robbins stage. So it's just like the first kid is, the rescue me. And then I want to have more kids. I want to have our family together. That is the insurance policy, because it's hard to walk away from, a situation where the relationship is a little rocky, but you have a kid. It's even harder to walk away from a situation when you have two kids. Insurance.
No, that's game, because like you said, when a woman really likes you, she describes you in a totally different way. She's gonna be like, man, he's humorous, he's handsome.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's intelligent. So when they would start announcing you by like your career, your profession, like yeah, you're a come up, man. You know, and then like you said, first of all, when she was saying adopting, I'm like, the dad's gonna allow that?
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like what happened with that situation? Because and most people ain't even gonna bring that up like that because they know that dad's gonna have smoke if he's in the life. So that tells me like he must not be around and stuff. So yeah, she definitely wanted to, like you said, I think a lot of people I understand you might want to have more kids or a bigger family, but I do think like if you have a kid, because like we said, we're coming from a perspective we have kids. So if I like got with a female, I'm not going to be like, hey, I want to expand on that. If it happens, it happens. But I'll be cool with just like somebody coming in there willing to take on, like I said, what kind of lifestyle that I have at that point. And I think she probably scared that dude off. He's probably like, hey, shit. Now you talk about adopting and expanding. He's like, look, I gotta kick rocks. So yeah, she probably was just like, it was too much. It's too overwhelming. So I think people do got to understand that, you know, when they do kind of like, you know, come on to people. But anything else, I'll go ahead and start playing the video again.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Life. He travels with me around the world. I run my business. He gets to go to my retreats, etc. And that's what I do. And so I know I'm rare, but I do think it's a huge missed opportunity that men are passing on really good single moms like myself because they feel some type of way about it. And like she said, that's your prerogative. But you're also missing the most feminine, nurturing woman on the planet, or that I've been told.
That a girl. Troy, and then I'm going to come back to you ladies for a question.
You got to pause that. You got to pause that. The most feminine, nurturing woman on the planet, but somehow you got a kid and the father is just like, well, I can't really say that because I mean, people make, you know,
people make mistakes.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's hell of a sell because like, that is some pretty feminine, nurturing females that just, you know, they were a little more cautious, you know, selective and stuff. So just because they're not in your capacity, you know, that don't mean they ain't feminine and stuff. And I see that a lot of times when, like, in this case where it's like she understands like it's kind of a bad deal. So it's like I got to take swipes at some of the other females that might not be in my position to like bring them down or bring myself up. So that's really what it is. Like, and that's terrible. It's just like, look, man, like if that's what I was trying to say before. It's like if you're in this position, kind of like you were mentioning before, like, hey, I understand the baggage I bring, and I'm not mad if somebody, you know, doesn't want that. So you just kind of present that up front. But with that being said, it's like if they want to jump off, you're not going to oversell it. You're just like, hey, I understand. Thank you for being honest type of thing. You're not swiping other guys that don't have kids like, well, you know, I'm more nurturing or whatever. You know, you're not going to be
I'm more masculine than all these guys that don't have kids. So I've been told. Like, what?
Yeah. You're just like, look, I understand. Thank you for being honest. Keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
Been told by who? A dude trying to hit that you didn't want?
Yeah.
The dude trying to propose to you that you didn't want, but somehow you gave him the time of day. Probably because he had bread.
But I'll go ahead and play a little bit more.
Respect what you said, and you know you're a very inspiring woman, and it's great to hear you say that. I mean, my comment on that is, firstly, what you're doing is what a lot of women will do, which is kind of recontextualizing what alpha is. So I'll say, no, an alpha man, you know. A stepdad is a man who steps up. You know, the guy who's prepared to take on my children. That's my definition of alpha. Okay, so
hey, you are absolutely right. He's saying what we said, but in his British accent, it sounds way more digestible. That's it.
Yeah, it makes it sound professional. So she can absorb that. She's like, oh, okay, yeah, I did fuck up. I knew what I was doing, but you said it in a nice manner. So yeah, shout out to him, man.
Yeah.
You're defining alpha as that. Is that the actual objective definition of alpha? Maybe not. Maybe you could argue that the guy who just goes around the world and smashes a load of girls and has a fantastic time. Is that not alpha? You would argue not, because that's irresponsible.
Go to McQueen.
But that's another type of alpha. So that's the first thing. Secondly, I was actually on another podcast last night. I was talking to one of the girls there. She's got a couple of kids, okay? And she said that she's just recently got together with a dude, okay? They've been together 2 months. It's a long distance relationship, okay? Because he's in a different state. And he's already said to her, I want to marry you and I want to look after your kids after 2 months. is that the action of an alpha male, or is that the action of a guy who's needy and is saying that because he's desperate to secure the box?
That's different from my scenario. We dated
different to your scenario. But I'm just saying that somebody saying I'm prepared to look after your kids is not in itself necessarily indicative of alpha traits. It could actually be indicative of the opposite.
Let me get McQueen's thoughts here. McQueen, are you being sold on becoming?
No, he's not. He doesn't want.
Absolutely not.
He doesn't want to take care.
I'm not hearing none of this shit.
You got the simplest answers.
Yeah,
they're not playing this game.
No, because it's just like, how you gonna tell me I'm not out because I don't want to raise your fucking kids? You know what I'm saying? All right.
He doesn't want to raise his own.
Yeah, like all right.
I think like a really solid alpha is it can put up a really good risk-benefit analysis, right? So if the woman is a great exception to the rule, you freaking head her to heels more than anything you've ever felt in your life. That could be different. But for the average single mother that you meet, a very basic risk-benefit analysis that you could look on data that's already available. You could look at the situation that you're presented with. Probably not the safest route to go.
I think the truth is that's what we're all doing.
And that's what
and that's a normal thing to do. That's a responsible thing to do. And I think that's what an alpha would do at the end of the day.
No one's telling the other side that this shows up as a debit on the ledger, so you're going to have to make up for it in another side because that's distasteful. It creates an argument, and I think we grimace.
Well, a lot of people do that. I mean, they look at they'll say, that I don't count because I have a kid.
Yeah, my man shut that down in a nice way. He was like, "Look, man, that's a debit in a ledger."
Yeah.
L to the no. Like, he's like, shit. He didn't buy that accounting terms.
He's like, risk benefit analysis. I did it already. It's a debit.
Yeah. He said I did that shit before I stepped on this stage. That's a hell no for me. You know.
Yeah, shout out to the accounting people.
Yeah. I like what he did though. He's like, he's like, fellas, I got this one. Let me shoot this down real quick. Because she was sounding pretty smart for a minute. She's like, man, a real alpha would do a risk benefit analysis. He's like, not needed. Like,
yeah, he's like, not needed. He's like,
checked
I
the ledgers.
to the ledger.
It's a hell no. Yeah, let me go ahead.
You don't count because you said that comment.
There's lots of things that aren't ideal.
But it's also, you can make educated decisions.
Most women in their 20s, and I will surpass all of them in regards to the characteristics that I bring to a man and to his life.
Of course you will.
Let me get
You look
Tracy
like
back
you're
in the mix
late 30s, 40s.
So nice.
You should be past the 20-year-old.
You have a kid. How old is your kid?
My son is 4.
Your son is 4.
Yeah.
What's it been like bringing dudes around your kid?
I don't bring dudes around my
Ever.
kid. Ever.
That's the
Never.
answer.
No.
So no guy has.
I have my friends, people that he knows
Okay.
growing up, but I do not bring men that are temporary in my life around my son.
Okay, so what would it take to, like, how quickly do you tell a guy you have a kid?
Rotation.
Right away.
Right away.
Yeah.
I think that's smart.
Good girl. Yeah.
There's no
You have
point
to.
if he's just like, yeah, I'm out.
It's like if you have an STI.
I'll go ahead. I'll pause it, man, because we done covered the basics. So just on that, man, what's your overall take though, or your closing out?
Honestly, man, I think the men that Adam had on there did an excellent job of.
No, they held the line.
Yeah, they did an excellent job of being truthful and giving it to them raw, but not on no weird, like, hateful stance. Like, you can tell these dudes are not struggling with women. Just how the way that they approach, how the way they approach their responses, they respond in a way that was digestible for the women to consume. And even if they didn't consume it immediately, like the one girl in the back was a little defensive, but I'm sure when she made it back home and rewatched the clip, because everybody, if you get on Value Entertainment, you're definitely going to rewatch your clip when you make it home.
Yeah, no, it's a big platform, man.
Yeah, it's a big platform. So, I think they all got it walking away. Even the ones in the back. I think there was a lot of women there, and I think they all wanted to have a voice, but some of them got it so quickly that they were just like, yeah, I'm going to keep my mouth quiet on this one because I actually get what they're saying.
Yeah, because I don't, man, it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people think like, hey, they get me, because I have heard people say, well, they get me in this situation and, my kid too. And it's just like what people don't realize, like that lifestyle is pretty hectic. So people are like wising up. People are sharing information. Like I said, earlier, like people have seen other people struggle in these type of situations. So they're looking at things differently and stuff. So it's sad that it's got like these talks have to happen at this day and age. But a lot of people, that like the lady in the red was doing was kind of overselling herself and even taking swipes at other females. Like, well, you know, a 20-year-old ain't got what I got. Like, yeah, they don't have a kid, you know? So it's like, man, you can feel whatever you want. And it's like, she seems like she is a good lady, got her stuff together and stuff. But it's just like, man, like everybody ain't going to view everything the same and stuff. So I'm glad people are having these conversations. Cause like we said, man, I got a kid, I got one son, and you know, if I went in the market, I would look for somebody that did have a kid, you know, versus getting with somebody that didn't, because I don't want, you know, any more kids or anything like that. So, you know, there's a market for everybody, but yeah, you can't, you know, take a swipe at somebody because they don't want, you know, that lifestyle that you're trying to give out and stuff. Yeah. So it's just like the whole trying to spin the alpha, the masculinity and shit. It's just like, nah, you can't be mad at somebody, like you said, if they don't want to take that deal at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely, like I said, these conversations are definitely needed. And like you said, definitely shout out to those guys. They held the line and, you know, they definitely, like I said, have their stuff together and they're like, I'm not taking it. They ain't wavered. They're just like, nah, we're good. Like you could say whatever. You could say we ain't masculine. I'm still not taking that damn deal. So yeah. Shout out to like Adam, man. Definitely a great moderator, man. Great panels. We're gonna be reviewing some more of that content and stuff. But
absolutely.
All right, man.
I'll just say, shout out to the women too, because you know, they could have, the ones that did talk, they could have stayed quiet and just allowed to just, you know, be like yes, nod their head and stuff like that. But you know, they did disclose some of their personal situations, and you know, I think that's important to put it all on the table, to have real dialogues and conversation, because this conversation would have never reached that depth if it wasn't for that woman in the red. So I definitely appreciate, you know, her for having the vulnerability to speak on her personal situation. So shout out to her as well.
Yeah, I've seen her on various other podcasts, and it did look like she was taking the information in after she tried to make her pitch, and it got shot down. She was like, shit, you know. So like you said, I think a lot of people are hearing some of this stuff for the first time, which is, you know, people that don't have like kids yet. I think it is helping people to like realize like, dang, I do need to maneuver different, because if I get in that situation, then hey, I do got to go out there and, you know, kind of make a pitch to somebody to take on my lifestyle. So, you know, whether it's man or female. So I think these talks are helping. So shout out to them for having that conversation. Like you said, for even the females to, you know, go up there and they, you know, they wasn't screaming, getting ratchet and nothing either. You know, they just,
definitely professional.
Real professional.
All the women were beautiful on their, in their own way, and definitely professional. They definitely held their composure. So I like watching podcasts like this because you can actually get information from it. It's not this ignorance that you see on a lot of podcasts where people are just upset and angry and, you know, traumatized and battered and torn, because that conversation never really gets anywhere and it's just a waste of time. But this is a very valuable conversation because we were able to break this down in layers just because, you know, we have the time versus, you know, those guys were in real time answering questions. So
real time is definitely tough, but they still did a good job.
They did an excellent job. I mean, they said everything we said. Yeah.
All right, man. We'll close this out, man. Y'all keep sending us some clips, man. We keep breaking them down, man. This was definitely a good one. But all right, y'all. Peace.
All right. Peace.